So, I just talked about Tua Tagovailoa, and I talked about how the Miami Dolphins have a Super Bowl caliber roster as I speak today, and it is now on Tua Tagovailoa to deliver for the Miami Dolphins. Another young quarterback that is under a lot of pressure now is the New York Giants' current starting quarterback, Daniel Jones. The pressure is now on Daniel Jones to prove to the world why he is a legitimate franchise quarterback. Look, I was not a huge Daniel Jones fan when he was drafted out of Duke. I felt he was not worth the 6th overall pick. Daniel Jones showed some good things at Duke, but while I was watching him at Duke during the pre-draft process, I never once looked at Daniel Jones and I never jumped out of my seat saying, yeah, I gotta have that quarterback. And in today's NFL, the quarterback position is very expensive, okay? In order to have a franchise quarterback, long-term, for a 10 to 15-year period, unless they're going to take a pay cut like Tom Brady and quarterbacks of that nature, you are going to have to pay that quarterback a crap ton of money. In today's NFL, quarterbacks like Patrick Mahomes are getting paid $45 million per year. Dak Prescott is getting paid $40 million per year going forward with the Dallas Cowboys. Even quarterbacks like Jared Goff are getting paid $33.5 million per year. And why is that so important? It's so important because if you're going to invest so much, salary cap or money into a franchise quarterback, that quarterback is going to have to be able to go out there year in and year out, game in and game out, and be consistent and win you football games. I'm not sure if Daniel Jones is that guy. I'd be very, very hesitant to pay Daniel Jones a crap ton of money, okay? Now, I will give Daniel Jones the benefit of the doubt in this regard. The situation he walked into when he was drafted was not the most ideal. He inherited a rebuilding roster with a bad offensive line, not great wide receivers, not a great defense. I mean, the team when he was drafted in 2019, the team was not very good. And Pat Shurmur was the head coach. And while I do respect Pat Shurmur as an offensive coordinator, as a head coach, I don't like him, And also, keep in mind, Daniel Jones was succeeding Eli Manning. And he still is succeeding Eli Manning. Those are some big-time shoes to fill. But today, the excuses are out the window for Daniel Jones heading into the 2021 NFL season and from this point going forward, because the offensive line, it's better than it was 2 years ago. Now the wide receiver core is really, really good. The New York Giants signed Kenny Galladay, a top 10 wide receiver in the NFL. They drafted Kadarius Toney out of Florida, a playmaking wide receiver that's really, really good. I'm a big fan of him. They now have Darius Slayton, an underrated deep threat. Sterling Shepard, a really good slot receiver. Saquon Barkley comes back off of injury. Saquon Barkley, when healthy, he's the most talented running back in all of football. And not to mention, the New York Giants have a really, really talented defense now. And Joe Judge, to me, I think is a really good head coach. So the Giants now have a good defense, a good coaching staff, well above average wide receivers, a decent tight end core, arguably the best running back in all football from a talent perspective when he's healthy, an improved offensive line. Where are the excuses for Daniel Jones now? Daniel Jones, it is time for him to go out there and win football games and prove to the world that he is a franchise quarterback. All the excuses about, it's his first year learning this new playbook. He no longer has help at wide receiver. Saquon Barkley is hurt. The defense stinks. Pat Shurmur sucks. All the excuses are out the window. It is now time for Daniel Jones to prove to the world he's a first-round pick that was worthy of being drafted by the New York Giants. That he's worthy of that 6th overall pick. That he's a guy that you can pay $35 or $40 million per year to. Because if Daniel Jones goes out there and plays well, you're going to eventually pay him. And that's a long-term investment. So in the end, look, I'm not the biggest Daniel Jones fan, but he's being put now in a good position to succeed. This is a situation where Daniel Jones should win games and should succeed. All he has to do really is just go out there and be a game manager. Just don't turn the football over. Hand the football off to Saquon Barkley. Hit your open wide receivers. Don't fumble. Don't make mistakes. And the Giants can legitimately make some noise in the NFC. The Giants, to me, have a really talented roster. But in order for that roster to reach its full potential, Daniel Jones will need to show that he's a long-term franchise quarterback. Only time will tell if that's the case. Thank you so much for watching this video today. Please also note that the Juiciest Sports Podcast is not just a YouTube channel. It is available on all podcasting platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts. Also, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this content with all your friends. This podcast is my favorite thing in the entire world right now. It is my passion. And I want more people to listen to this podcast. I really want this podcast to grow. Also, a fun fact about me is that I want to go into the sports broadcasting and media world once I graduate from the University of Toledo, a college in Northern Ohio. I am looking to become one of the next great sports broadcasters and analysts out in the world. And I potentially would like to start my own network if this podcast really truly grows. Or if I fall short of that goal, I would love to work for a big time network like ESPN or Fox Sports 1. I am open to all networks. So if you believe in my dreams and you see or hear my passion through the screen, be sure to tell all your friends about the Juiciest Sports Podcast. Stay motivated, you guys. Have a God bless day, and I'm out.